maybe he's there and they take him. Like, how do we know?
Kelvin Banks from
Yep.
Texas, like a victim of prospect fatigue, who's a really damn good prospect and was my top tackle coming out of last summer. He was my tackle too when I did tackle rankings. He didn't do anything wrong. Membu just passed him this year. So yeah, Joe, I mean, it's a great point that they're not attached to any of these players from the previous regime.
Yeah, how we think about these guys may not be how they think about them. And, I think they were pretty direct about their feelings with like a guy like Stevens. And, that's going to be, they're betting on themselves and they're betting on their ability to coach up players, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, although they're keeping some schematic flexibility, which I think we all think is a good thing. And they don't seem naive to the reality that this roster is a work in progress and still needs some, a meaningful amount of work to it. I mean, is anything that you heard from any of those quotes, because I know everyone tries to parse through read between the lines, did anything you hear change the way you're thinking going into the next mock draft you're going to make? Like, you're in the season where you're going to be making one, I don't know, every week, you're finalizing the draft guide. Did you hear something where you're like, I'd probably shuffle around my Jets picks now?
Yeah, I mean, I did the 3-rounder that my idea was, what if they think ABT can play right tackle and they just try to maximize the board? If I was writing my final mock draft today, predicting what they would do, I would predict that they take a right tackle or a player they believe can play right tackle. And that list really narrows down to me in consideration at 7. Membu, who, there's a world where he's not there. You never know. What they think of Will Campbell from LSU, because I don't think he's a tackle. He'd have a historically small wingspan for a tackle. I mean, historically. And then Kelvin Banks, who I mentioned before from Texas, I would think it might seem early to some people, but if you think a guy is a good tackle prospect and can flip over to right tackle, then there's not really a big conversation here. And, something I filed Banks's report a couple days ago, and he's somebody that I spent time with at the combine, but I heard this from multiple sources before the combine that the character on him is A+. And he's somebody that he played left tackle for Texas ages 18 through 20. Yeah, that's
not an easy thing to do.
That is absolutely insane. So you do need to, and Membu gets this too. You need to think of trajectories with offensive linemen very often. A 23-year-old offensive line prospect is very different from a 20-year-old offensive line prospect. And Membu was a 2-year starter, but had his breakout year this year. The reason I'm just bringing up Banks' name to the table because we can have these narrow